Hello friends, today we are going to deal with the two topics. These are production of dilute urine and production of concentrated urine. One by one we discuss these topics. First we have discussion on the production of diluted urine. So here when the intake of the fluid is more, the kidney produce large volume and diluted urine, and that urine are produced by the change in the different concentration of the uh, nephron and the interstitial fluid of renal medulla. So the osmolarity of interstitial fluid of the renal medulla become greater as compared to the descending lymph towards the tip of the nephron loop. So more and more water are reabsorbed by the osmosis. As a result, the remaining fluid that inside the lumen has high concentration. So these high concentrators fluid is passed to the thick ascending lymph of nephron. So in the thick ascending lymph of nephron have active absorption of sodium ion, potassium ion and chlorine ion symphods. They are actively absorbed by these symphods. So what happened in the thick ascending nephron, the sodium, potassium, chlorine ion are reabsorbed, and the water permeability inside of thick ascending lymph of nephron is very low, and water is not be reabsorbed, and water can't be reabsorbed. So the fluid that in the thick ascending nephron whose concentration is 150 milliosmolarity per liter, so that fluid transfer to the DCT, and in the DCT the water molecules are not be reabsorbed because of the inactivity of ADH hormone. Why the ADH hormone are not be active? Because already inside the body have huge amount of the water. So due to the large amount of water inside the body, the hypothalamus is not be active the pituitary gland to secrete the ADH. So ADH is not be secreted, and that ADH not be trigger the aquaporin protein in the last DCT and collecting duct. So aquaporins not be active, so the water can't be reabsorbed by these DCT and collecting duct. So water remain inside the lumen, so the concentration in the lumen will decrease. So when the urine is passed through the collecting duct and drain into the renal pelvis, the concentration of this fluid and this urine is 65 to 70 millimole per liter. So this amount of uh, concentration is passed through the renal pelvis. So this concentration is 4 times diluted. It is a 4 times diluted than the concentration of our blood, and also that fluid that enter in the renal that enter in the glomerulus, that enter in the Bowman capsule by the efferent arteriole. So this is 4 times diluted urine that pass through the renal pelvis. So this is all about the dilution. So here we see the picture and revise these the production of diluted urine. So in this we see that the efferent arteriole the blood come in the afferent artery or enter in the glomerulus, and what happened, the glomerulus filtrate the fluid and transfer into the PCT. So in the PCT, the concentration is similar to the interstitial fluid in the renal cortex. So this is an isotonic solution. There is no movement of ions and water. So the fluid that enter in the descending lymph of nephron. In descending of lymph of nephron, the the concentration is increases because the water is reabsorbed. The water reabsorbed into the renal medulla and transfer into the bloodstream by the vasa recta. So the fluid that water that is reabsorbed, and at the tip of the nephron, the concentration of fluid is very high. As you see here, the concentration of fluid is high as compared to their interstitial fluid. So water is moved from the high concentration to low concentration. Okay, so water is moved from the renal tubule to the interstitial fluid, and at the tip of the nephron the concentration of is high. Here only the solute ions and solutes are remain, and that fluid enter into the thick ascending of nephron. So in the thick ascending of nephron, we had already discussed this, that in this part they have a active symport of sodium chloride and potassium ions. They are actively reabsorbed by the symport, and the only the thing that inside the fluid is the solute. Sorry, only the fluid. Okay, so solute are reabsorbed. The remaining fluid that inside the tubule is the water, and that water molecule enter into the fluid that enter into the DCT, and also in the DCT and collecting duct, the ADH is not be active, and the membrane is impermeable to reabsorption of water, as we already discussed this, that why the membrane is impermeable to water. So the water can't be enter into the interstitial fluid, and and that water are enter into the DCT, transfer into the DCT, and that DCT transfer the blood fluid into the collecting duct, and collecting duct drain the fluid into the renal pelvis, and that renal pelvis transfer the fluid into the ureter. Okay, this is all about the production of diluted urine. So the production of concentrated urine. So in this production of urine, the when the we take we intake huge amount of water, the kidney produce, sorry, when we take only the less quantity of the water, in when we travel in the bus, train, any vehicle, we drink less water. And you also notice that when we pass urine, that color of urine and amount of urine is also less. The color is very yellow and amount of urine is very less. So at that condition, the production of urine is concentrated, the urine is highly concentrated. So we see that that urine produced at that time, that the concentration of that urine is 4 times more than the blood and glomerular filtrate. Okay, and the three main solute that contribute this high osmolarity concentration are sodium ions, chloride ion, and urea. Urea is also contribute to production of high osmolarity. So to maintain this osmolarity inside the body, to maintain the normal osmolarity inside the body, the two main factors are important, that work on to maintain the osmolarity inside the body. Okay, the one is the difference in the solute reabsorbed in the different section of the nephron and the collecting duct. So in previous lectures we had already discussed the different symports and different absorption of ions on the, like in thick ascending nephron, the symport of the sodium, potassium and calcium, and in the PCT they have a reabsorption of sodium and hydrogen ions by their active transport, and also there is reabsorption of bicarbonate ions, and different ions are reabsorbed in the different parts. So like that, the different solute are reabsorbed in the different parts. So this also contribute to produce an produce and maintain a normal osmolarity inside the body. And second one is the countercurrent flow in the nephron. So there in the in the kidney they have two type of countercurrent. One is the countercurrent multiplication, and another one is the countercurrent exchanger. So the meaning of the countercurrent is that the fluid that flow in the opposite direction. Okay, the fluid that in the opposite direction. So here first we discuss the countercurrent flow, that is countercurrent multiplication. So in the this countercurrent involve the long nephron loop of the juxtamedulla nephron, and we know that this is the inside the renal medulla. Their loop is deep into the renal medulla, and this nephron inside the kidney is 10%. They are less percentage inside the body. Okay, so in this what happened, the ascending and descending lymph of long nephron establish a osmolarity or gradient in the renal medulla. This function the nephron is known as countercurrent mechanism. Okay, the only which part contribute the countercurrent mechanism, countercurrent multiplication, that is the juxtamedular nephron ascending and descending lymph of nephron. Okay, you got this point. At this part of the nephron establish the concentration gradient inside the renal medulla. Okay, so production of concentrated urine by the countercurrent multiplication produced in this way. So first we see that only this diagram what happened in this mechanism, countercurrent multiplication. That fluid enter the blood enter into the afferent arteriole and enter into the glomerulus. So here the filtration occur. So the fluid enter into the PCT. Okay, and maximum absorption is done by at that point. So main focus is our on the ascending and descending loop of nephron. So in the uh, in the descending nephron, um, okay, in the descending nephron the concentration is 300. Okay, so the water is reabsorbed because this ascending is permeable to water. Okay, the water is reabsorbed, the concentration is automatically increased because the only that ions are remain inside the lumen. So at the tip of the nephron the concentration is 1200. Okay, at that point. So that urine is transferred into the that fluid is transferred into the ascending thick nephron. So here the uh, first condition occur where the concentrated urine is formed. Here the fluid that enter in this part of the nephron, the sympod the sympod of sodium potassium chloride are active and absorb the sodium chloride and and secrete the potassium ion. Okay, here that sympod are active. So the the concentration of fluid is decreased up to 100. So only the water is remain inside the fluid, and uh, in the descending leaf of nephron, and we have discussed that they they have reabsorbed the water, and okay, this is in the descending lymph of nephron. So fluid is enter into the DCT, and at the here the production is concentrated. Okay, inside the body already have less amount of water. So what happened that less amount of water uh, uh, stimulation is transferred into the hypothalamus, and hypothalamus transfer the signal into the pituitary gland to secrete the ADH, and ADH activate these principal cells and, and aquaporins to reabsorb the water. Okay, so what happened when the less concentrated fluid is enter into the body, and inside enter into the DCT, inside the body already have a less amount of water. So ADH is already have ADH is already produced by the pituitary gland, and that ADH reabsorb the water, and also water is reabsorbed by the collecting duct, and urine is also transferred into the DCT. So the urine that in the CT collecting duct is transferred into the interstitial fluid, and that is reabsorbed in the thin ascending nephron and the thin descending nephron. Here urine is reabsorbed. So in the and this reabsorption is called urea recycle, and cows build up a urea in the renal medulla. Okay, so what happened in production of concentrated urine, the urea cycle is also involved. Okay, you understand the mechanism of counter current multiplication, how this work. Okay, so you see the diagram, and remember this is a simple way to revise the whole procedure, that is counter current multiplication. So here the blood is enter filtrate, and filtrate fluid enter into the PCT. In PCT the transfer into the descending lymph of nephron, and at that point reabsorption of water is occur. So concentrated fluid is enter into the thick ascending nephron, and at that point reabsorption NaCl, sodium and chloride ions, and secretion of potassium. Potassium is secreted out, so the concentration is very low. So already here water in remaining inside the ascending lymph of nephron. So the they go into the DCT, and here the activation of the ADH hormone. Due to the activity of ADH hormone, the water is reabsorbed. So almost all water molecule are reabsorbed. So that urine pass into the renal pelvis has concentration 1200 millimole per liter, milliosmolarity per liter. So this is a 4 time concentrated than the blood plasma. Okay. this is all about this countercurrent multiplication. So this multiplication is done by the juxtamedullary nephron, long loop of juxtamedullary nephron. Okay, so next we deal with the countercurrent exchanger. In countercurrent exchanger, it involves the solute and water exchange between the blood and vasa recta, and and the interstitial fluid of the renal medulla. So it involves the vasa recta. So here the vasa recta, that is formed by efferent arteriole. Okay, so the blood flow uh, the vasa recta is formed by the afferent arteriole, and that transfer into the efferent. Okay, so I'm sorry, the vasa recta is formed by the efferent arteriole, and that transfer the blood into the mm, into the renal veins. We had also discussed this flow of blood in the first or yeah, second video. So you please watch that video to more detail. Okay, so here that vasa recta is formed by the efferent arteriole, and that form the peritubular capillaries, all that, and that transfer the blood into the renal pelvis, renal veins. That blood transfer into the renal veins, and renal veins transfer into the infravena cava, and that transfer the blood into the heart. So here we discuss about the vasa recta. So the countercurrent exchanger is formed by the vasa recta. The blood flow into the vasa, and, having concentration is this 300, and that flow along the descending part into the renal medulla, where the interstitial fluid become increasing their concentration because of the sodium chloride and chloride ion and urea diffused from the interstitial fluid into the blood. Okay, so in this the concentration, why that the concentration is increased. Okay, why? When the fluid go into the descending part of the medulla, renal medulla, the sodium and chloride ion and also urea are enter into the blood. So the concentration at the tip of the renal medulla is increased. Okay, so and that is transferred into the ascending ascending part of the renal medulla. The blood is going upward. So here the as the blood, so when the fluid are going ascending renal medulla, the water is reabsorbed, and sodium and chloride ion are moved back into the interstitial fluid. So why that the concentration in at the ascending renal medulla is low. So the osmolarity of blood leaving the vasa recta is slightly higher than the osmolarity of vasa when the blood entering the vasa recta. Okay, here you see that it is 300, and when blood leaving, that is 475. And vasa recta also provide oxygen and nutrition to renal medulla without washing out and decreasing the osmotic concentration. Okay, so it is another function of the vasa recta, that the vasa recta provide the nutrition and oxygen to the renal medulla. Okay, so I will explain the once again this flow of blood. So as you see in the picture, that the black arrow is a diffusion of the sodium chloride and urea, and blue arrow is the movement of the water. Okay. So here in the descending renal medulla, when the blood entering into the vasa recta, their osmolarity is 300 milliosmol per liter, and it flow along the descending part into the renal medulla. The interstitial fluid that become concentrated due to the sodium chloride and urea diffused from the interstitial fluid into the blood, and the water that diffused from the blood into the interstitial fluid. Okay, so water is diffused from the blood to the interstitial fluid. So the osmolarity is increases when the blood flow into the ascending part of the vasa recta. So when the blood enter into the ascending part of the vasa recta, the osmolarity is increased. So here the blood flow through this region, so the interstitial fluid increasing less concentrated. So when the fluid enter in this, the 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 sodium ion move from the blood into the interstitial fluid, and water come from the interstitial fluid into the vasa recta. So by that the osmolarity is decreases, but the osmolarity of fluid that enter in the vasa recta have high concentration than the blood that pass from the leave the vasa recta has high osmolarity. So by that this concentrated blood enter into the renal pelvis, and that transfer into the infravena cava, and that go into the heart. Okay, so another function of the vasa recta is that it provide oxygen and nutrition to the renal medulla. This is outer kidney part, that is a triangle shaped part, that is a renal pelvis, have a renal medulla, and at that cube column the vasa recta provide oxygen and nutrition. Okay, this is the counter current mechanism. By that the osmotic concentration is maintained of our body. Okay, this is now we see the full counter current and counter current multiplication and counter current exchanger. Here the diagram. So here the filtrate entering the descending lymph becomes progressively more concentrated, and it is lose water. Okay, so this concentration is enter, so slowly the water is move into the vasa recta, and vasa recta absorb the water, as we see that the ascending part reabsorb the water. Okay, so here the ascending part of the vasa recta, and this is the one is in the picture you see that one side the fluid go down and another side fluid go upward. So this the fluid that go in opposite direction is called counter. You clearly see that, and you see uh, and you clear your concept on the counter current. Okay, so when the fluid enter in the descending lymph of nephron, water is reabsorbed and go into the vasa recta, and here the concentration is 1200 millimole milliosmolarity, and that this concentration of fluid enter in the thick ascending lymph of nephron, and here the you have active absorption of sodium chloride and potassium by the symphotes. So these are reabsorbed and transferred into the vasa recta. And we already discussed that when the blood enter into the descending part of the nephron, the water is reabsorbed, and that sodium chloride ion in the renal medulla, interstitial fluid of the renal medulla are enter into the blood, that is the blood of the vasa recta. So here that fluid go into the descending lymph of the vasa recta at the tip. Here the concentration of vasa recta fluid is 1200, and that this concentration of the blood is enter into the ascending lymph of vasa recta, and at that point they reabsorb the water that inside the interstitial fluid of the renal medulla are enter into the vasa recta by osmosis, so the concentration is decreased. Okay, this is all renal filtration and their reabsorption, secretion and counter current mechanisms, all we have discussed this. Thank you. Thanks for watching my video. Hope you like. Please like, share, comment and subscribe my channels. Okay.